Greetings, my name is Pablo Cuadros, and I would like to talk about the master that I chose, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Mozart was an unconventional human being and distinguishable character in appearance. At the age of 3, he discovered his love for the music, and at the age of 9, he composed the first symphony, and at the age of 12, he composed the first Chronicle opera. One of the greatest achievements of Mozart and Beethoven throughout their lives was the development of the symphony into a distinct and sophisticated and almost dramatic art form. Originally designed to serve as an introduction for a concerto or opera, both geniuses, along with Joseph Haydn, elevated the symphony to the genre we know today. On the way to explain why I choose this master, I took 2 points from the master book. The first point is about the strategies for refining your life's task. Avoiding the false path made Mozart to realize which way he had to follow. Was not the satisfaction of pleasing the audience or following the same style of music of that era. It was more than that. He knew that his real passion was composing and the theater, and that's something remarkable to mention. I had the same mission. I was struggling on whether being a puppet of the audience, performing the same repertory, or demonstrating that I was above that. That's why I decided to leave the stage and start to compose and produce my own music. And on the one way I discovered my passion, the music production. Moving on to the next point, as a master, he also had an emotional pitfall, dependency. Back at the time when he was in Italy, he started to seek the approval of suggestion of the people there, and he was putting his work in their hands. But through the years, Mozart had matured, and with that, his music, and he realized that he did not need the approval of an audience to do what he loved. He knew that he was a prodigy, and his talent was above the critic of an audience. That's why he decided to compose and stop pleasing the audience. And now, taking both examples from my master journal, I have learned to repel all the bad forces and close me from my real path, whether if it's my family or the public. I have to keep straight with what I am really passionate about, without expecting the recognition from anybody.
So, moving on to the next point, what I will ask him if he were alive. The first question will be: you as an experimental musician, you will be willing to combine your style of composition with the national music style from my country, Ecuador, called Pasillo. And the next question will be: what do you think about the cacophony and the genre from the 21st century? Why did I choose Envy as my first daily reality? It's because I know how my and sometimes I could feel jealous of people out there that have amazing ideas, but I know Envy that will be a negative plus in my mastery journal because let's take an example that I have my label company and someday a random guy comes to my country Ecuador and I start to develop amazing ideas. I'm start to feeling jealous because of that and start to be recognized all those kind of stuff, and in my mind I started to create a competition and I'm starting to live all the goals that I already uh, had in my mind. So that will be a negative plus because all the goals that really worth it will be just moved to the trash because of um, my envy to that person. So I believe that throughout the years I will learn how to avoid that reality, and I know that being a master do not just imply have with your goals, but also imply to having the humility in your heart. Moving on to the second and last point, laziness according to the daily reality. In my opinion, I believe that there means there are people out there, including me, that we just want to get that job as soon as we graduate from college or from our master program. We just want to be a master. We just want to reach that goal as soon as possible. But unfortunately, in that way of fighting, we just get tired and start to taking the easy way or start to take shortcuts. um, but at the end, you will, I mean, my opinion, I will feel guilty if I started to do that because I know that, for example, that successful project, it wasn't my idea, or I just stole it and just took advantage of someone else that had an amazing idea of that project. So, in my opinion, to avoid that, we have to go slow and safe. We don't have to rush our path to mastery. We have to stop and think that everything is in the right time. and we don't have to rush anything.